Right. Okay, so what I plan on doing here in this little live session here is I'm going to be going over Descript and sort of like my workflow with Descript so that way I'm able to get my video all edited and pieced together the way that I wanted. And then I'd also going to go ahead and, create that final product of the video and upload it to YouTube. And I use Descript for all of this work. And I wanted to show you how I go about it and then how I finally get it up on YouTube with the YouTube description and then the title. Really, so I don't have to even leave Descript, but I typically do to just add a few tweaks to it. So we're just going to go from start to finish with this. And so what I have here, and I'm going to go ahead and switch over here to our Descript. Okay, so this is the Descript. Descript is either it's in a web browser where we're also able to have a standalone desktop app as well, and I believe it's like kind of like web based. If I'm trying to be honest here with you, so anyways. I'm just going to go ahead and click on new project, and when I click on new project it's going to ask me, hey, is this a video or is this an audio project? Because you can do either, but I'm going to choose video project. And then it's going to ask me for all of these files. And the way that I work with my workflow is I will go ahead and film all of my parts and pieces outside of Descript, although Descript does do have their own version of recording and screen recording and everything. But I utilize Ecamm, and that's a Mac app only. The link is in the description if you're wanting to know a little bit more about Ecamm. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just give it a project name. And in this case here, I'm doing this for my other channel here of Pre-Code Camp. And so with Pre-Code Camp, I'm having a bunch of videos going over free Code Camp's lessons. And so I'm going to go ahead and do free Code Camp. And then the modules that we just got done doing was the compilation page, I believe. And let me go ahead and just double check that real quick. So I'm going to come down here and let's go here. And yeah, the video compilation page is, I think, what I did. Let me go ahead and double check. Nope, sorry. Curriculum outline is what the video that we just got done filming. And I'm going to go ahead and go back to Descript here. So free code camp, and I'm going to choose this right here where it's build a curriculum outline. Again, you can always change this later on, but this just gives me a file name here to kind of work with. So I'm going to do build a curriculum outline. And so that gives my Descript file its name. Next, what I'm going to do is I typically like going over here to the project folder. And this is where I want to drop and drag any of the files that I am working with that are pertaining to this video. And like I said, my workflow with this is I will film everything. I will do my own like cuts as far as steps, because what I'm teaching is something that is very linear in nature. And it is step 1, step 2, step 3. And so I just do a bunch of those types of edits here. So I'm going to come all the way from here, which is my intro. I got an overview, and then I'm going to go all the way up to the final thoughts. And I'm just going to drag this over. And so one of the things that I really love about Descript, not only does it tell us what it's kind of doing over here by analyzing the files, and it's going to show up over here. And you can see right now it's starting to populate, and it's letting me know what percentage of these files are actually being completed at the moment. Okay, and so we can see that this one here is 2% and 14%. And the way that Descript works is it also works as a translating type of service as well. And with all of these files selected, and again, this is like one of my hidden things that I really like doing, or like little hidden secrets that I didn't even know about and I just stumbled upon it, which is with all of them selected already, once they are done as far as uploading, I'm going to go ahead and come down here. I'm going to hit the transcribe files. And this makes the editing go so much quicker, especially if you're uploading a bunch of videos, because as soon as it's done, if it gets done with one of these first, it's going to go ahead and in the background transcribe it. So anyways, while that's working there, I am going to come over here. This is going to be sort of like our document. Think of it like, a Word document. And I'm going to grab my very first video that I would like to have in the sequence, and I'm going to drag it over here to, like I said, the Word document or Google Doc, and place it on there. And while it's uploading, you're not going to see a lot of things happening. And right now in the background, it is transcribing. And so while it is doing its transcription work, I'm going to start building out some markers, and that's what it calls it here. Looks like it had a little bit of an error doing this one, but we'll see how it's going to pan out here. There's a way to have it retranscribe if it does fail on some of these. So like I said, I'm going to go ahead and wait for it to kind of finish, because sometimes if I edit some of these things here, and I get ahead of Descript and it doesn't look quite as good. But we can see up here 0% has been transcribed. Like I said, I'm uploading a lot of stuff here. So just gonna go ahead and wait just a little bit for it to kind of finish here. So like I said, when I go through these videos, I like to kind of step them out chronologically, put them in some sort of numeric order, so that way I know what needs to be moved over to the timeline and when. I might be able to go ahead and add some markers on here, and so I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. So the way to add markers to this, or chapters, what they'll actually end up turning out to be, is the keyboard shortcut for that is just like the hashtag, and you can see that the marker has appeared. And so I'm just going to go ahead and type my very first one, which is overview. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit the enter key twice, and then I'm going to move on to my next marker that I'm going to do. And that's just going to be step 1. And then I'm just following this pattern here. And you'll see that markers are going to be on here very shortly on this timeline here, once we start dropping and dragging in some other videos. So here's step 3, and then I'm just going to keep on going all the way to step 11. Now I did put in a little bit of a self-promotion here, where users can learn about the specials that pre-Codecamp has to offer. And so I'm just going to put in here special offer for YouTube. Okay, and that indicates me that I need to put in this advertisement here for the pre-Codecamp, because I'm trying to get some members to take a look at it. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and go to step 5, and follow that all the way up to step 11. And in order to get these markers, again, I'm just doing the hashtag as the keyboard shortcut. And then my last one, I always do like a final thoughts, and that's this last one up here. Now, every time we do uploads on here, and every time these files are transcribed, you'll notice that we have these little quote marks, and I don't know if you can see them on yours, but that's what I'm talking about right there, which is the little quotes. And that just means that that file is done. It's already transcribed. And so I can come down here to final thoughts, and this is again my workflow, this is why I put those spaces in there, which is now I can go ahead and add the file. And so I'm going to always start from the bottom and work my way up to the top with this text-based editor here. Okay, so I'm just going to take this and then I'm going to drag it down here. And you can see that already we have transcribed it. And later on, we're going to be doing a lot of cleanup with this stuff, because you can see that I use the word and common filler words of you know. And so that is going to be automatically wiped out here for us, which is really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and let me go ahead and undo that. And I think my markers might have disappeared, but I got them back. Okay, so down here for step 11, I'm going to go ahead and grab step 11. And I'm just clicking on each one of these here. So this is step number 10. I'm coming over here to step 10, and I'm putting it in its place. And it's just real quick, drop and drag. And that's what I hope you all can kind of see with this workflow of utilizing Descript and being able to just drop and drag these video files over, and it's already transcribed because we did that pre-work of uploading everything and then just having Descript kind of transcribe everything. And like I said, we're going to be cleaning these up with the pauses that you see on here. So now I'm going to go ahead and go to 7. And so that's my pattern here, is I'm going to go ahead and click on right below those markers and then drag it in there. If you guys have any questions at all, feel free to type in the live chat there if you're just joining. So I'm just coming up over here to 6, and then I'm dragging it right there to that purple box. And then once we get all these in here, I'll go ahead and kind of explain what some of these things that we're seeing on here are. So here's my special offer that I wanted to let potential future students know about pre-code camp. And here is step 4. So you can kind of see it's a little bit of a tedious process, but it's not that bad for just being able to drop and drag these over here, especially if you've pre-sliced up your video and starting and stopping. But I used Ecamm Live for recording the video, which is what I'm using right now for streaming this video. And then I'm using Descript to edit my recorded video. Okay, so it looks like it is all in there. And let me go ahead and kind of explain a little bit of the layout of Descript, so that way we can maybe see what I'm trying to do. So one of the things that I like about Descript, and I turn on as far as my settings go, is anytime you see these dot dot dots, they are dead space, where maybe words aren't being spoken. And there's going to be a real simple way for us to kind of remove all that dead space. And the way that, why is there dead space at the very beginning and the very end? Ecamm Live does do, you know, pre-record fade-ins and fade-outs, and that's just the nature of Ecamm. Notice that we also have these highlighted items on here, kind of. These are all pauses or filler words that you'll see that we're going to be able to remove, and it can either remove it, or if it detects that it might be noticeable, it may want to keep it in. And so that's all part of these AI tools here. So part of my workflow, again, I just moved all of my files over. They're all filled in. They are all part of each one of these little markers that you see here. Step 1, and then comes down to step 2. The markers come into play in several parts here, but let's first clean up the video. So the first thing that I do is I come over to AI tools here, and I want to go ahead and do the following. I want to make sure that studio sound is turned on. That means it's going to sound nice and rich, and it's going to be applying the studio sound to each and every one of my scenes. And the way that Descript breaks up the scenes, we kind of did it with the markers. You can see that this is a scene here, this is a scene up here, and so it will do the audio of the studio sound on every single one of them, which is really nice. And so let's go ahead and double check some of these. Studio sounds there. Studio sound is here. So it's being applied to the entire file. And you can see here that it is applying the studio sound, and it's got 12 remaining. I come from CapCut, and that is definitely a nice feature to have, which is the studio sound. In my opinion, better than CapCut if you are a CapCut user. Okay. The next thing that I do to the video, and again, this is every single one of my videos that I do for pre-code camp, is after I get the audio done, I come back over to these AI tools, and then I will come up here to remove the filler words. And Descript, they do have this toggle setting right here where we can avoid the hard edits, meaning that you will notice a difference if I were to delete this here. But over here in the search results, it has every single one of them. Now you can go line by line with this. You can see that I say the word a lot, and but I typically I will just go ahead and, from my experience, I trust Descript, and I will click on the remove all, and it will remove it. This part right here is a kind of a new feature, the avoid harsh cuts. And like I said, if you turn it off, notice that it goes to 166 versus 56. Okay, so if you are thinking about utilizing this or practicing with this, maybe you can keep the harsh cuts toggled on, and then as you're going through it, you still get that highlight of the underline, the blue underline of the uhs, and maybe you can go in there and you can delete it. But I'm going to go ahead and click remove all. And another neat thing is you can also see the timeline kind of update. And if you are a timeline editor, you are able to take a look at the timeline down here, and you can shrink and grow this as much as you would like, going from scene to scene, and you can kind of see how it will chop things up. But for my use cases, I typically don't go down to the timeline. I do all my editing up here with the text base editing, because like if I did not want the word Rob to be in here, I can go ahead and delete it and removes it. I don't have to like go down the timeline and search for that word or search for the wavelength of that word and kind of remove it. So it makes that very nice. So after I get done doing the filler words, then I come up here and then I also remove the word gaps. And so in my kind of experience, anything more than maybe 5 seconds of gap, you can change it to 5 seconds, you can change it to 2 seconds, or 0.2 seconds. And matter of fact, I can come over here and just say, hey, anything more than 0.5 seconds of a gap, let's go ahead and shorten them all. So I'm going to go ahead and shorten them all. And notice the timeline down here, once I hit shorten all, you'll see now it goes down to 27. So these are ways to kind of shorten up the video whenever you are trying to do your edits. So my step one, again, was studio sound. Make sure I applied that to the entire file. Next one was we're going to remove the filler words, which is your ums and ahs, and then lastly was the word gaps. Okay, so now that we've done that to our entire file, what I typically do, because I'm a slow talker, and if you're a fast talker, you definitely don't want to do this, but I'm going to highlight everything on here, and then I'm going to come over here to the layer panel here, and I am going to just slightly increase this to 1.1. And notice now my video is now 25 minutes long. And like I said, I'm a slow talker, so 1.1 works out great for me for the duration, but I do have to select the entire script in here from that text editor in order to make that happen. Okay. Now, one of the other things that I do here for, that I love about Descript is the scene layouts. And with the scene layouts, what we can do with this is I have these scenes set up in a way where I like it in a certain condition for going through chapters, for example. So like if I'm coming over here and I'm saying, hey, at the very beginning of this, I would like to have a little drop up, or a little thing show up on the screen and have it just do a little real quick pop up and pop down. So I created a scene layout that I was like, hey, I want to make this a standard. So that way when I come in here and I edit a scene, that I would like that to happen, but I would like it to pull its information from this right here, which is the marker that I did from the very beginning, if you're with us for that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put in, I'm on the keyboard here, and I'm putting in a slash, okay? And so from OK, so if you're watching this video for the first time, all up until this point here, I would like to have that type of scene kind of display. And so I created some scene layouts here. So let me change my layout pack. I'm going to go to private, and I'm going to come into this layout pack. And I created one that is marker driven. And once you set up a scene the way you like, you can say, hey, let's use this as a scene to use in the future, not only in this current video, but future videos. And so once I do that, because my cursor is in between here, or I can definitely click on here and click on layout and choose my pack here. But I want marker driven. And like I said, this is such a time saver. And I'm going to go ahead and play this here.
Okay, so if you are watching this video for the very first time, I'm going to be assuming...
You can see how it went up and then it just went away.
Okay, so if you are watching this video for the very first time, I'm going to be assuming...
And that's something that we can apply to each one of these scenes that we created, okay? And say you didn't get this right. Maybe you wanted that thing to fade away when it came down to here. We can just drag this to right there. And it will last the entire time until it gets to that point.
Okay, so if you are watching this video for the very first time, I'm going to be assuming that you are brand new.
You see how it went away? So that's a really neat feature that I like about Descript is you can do text-based editing, and I'm going to go ahead and drag that back up to where I wanted it in the first place, and it just goes away. And then I'm just going to repeat this process for each one of my steps that I ended up creating here. So again, just to go through this again, I'm going to highlight the words that I care about for that little pop-up to show up. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit the slash on my keyboard, the /. And now I created a brand new scene, and I can go ahead and select the layout that I want, which is marker driven. And now it pulled step 1 from the marker that I had right here. So pretty cool. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put it in the comments. I can definitely take a look at those as I'm going through this. Hopefully the video is clear enough for you guys to see. If not, I can boost up the text here or zoom in here. All right, and so again, that's just my process. So I'm just going to go ahead and come here. Again, we can highlight it, hit the slash, and come to the layout and do marker driven. And so that will be step 2. And so on. So pretty neat, right? Is anybody familiar with Descript for those that are watching? So yeah, I'm just repeating that process here. Another nice thing that that we'll show you here with Descript is what if the translation didn't work out well? You're able to alter the text if that's what you need to do. So I'll put one here. And like I said, it's just so easy to create these. It's neat to see it finally take effect. And once you get a layout that you like, you can save it and then just reuse it over and over again. So looks like that's a repeated word here, and the filter did pick it up, but it said it would be a harsh cut. And so if you want, you can listen to it. Let's see.
Done saying it's all about repetition, and the quicker you can go.
So repetition, I want to keep that part in there. So maybe I didn't want that to be removed. All right, let's go ahead and keep going along here. And updating the layout. And I'll show you what I do next, because it's once we get the chapters done or the markers done and these quick little things, I'll show you what I do to the intro, and I'll show you what I do to the outro, which is pretty neat. So let's go ahead and add a layout here. And then I'll go ahead and do that again. I don't have that many steps, guys, if you guys are just watching here. I think it goes up to step 11. So we're almost done. All right, and then we'll do this one. And Descript also has an AI bot that they use. They call it Underlord. We'll use that for creating a little more robust SEO-driven description that we would put into the YouTube channel. All right. Oh, the final thoughts. I went a little crazy. Let me go ahead and undo that one because I have something totally different for it. All right, so once I've gone through all the markers, then I come up all the way to the top, and I am going to apply this to the very first scene. And like I said, it's all about time saving things here with Descript. And I'm going to go ahead and apply my intro layout. So you always don't have to choose the same layouts all the time. And this gives me enough work or enough template for me to work with as far as making something standard so all the videos look the same. And then I can come in here and just edit the text to the title of this, which is Build a Curriculum Outline. And then you can adjust the text size here. You see the little scrubber that you see there. All right, and so what did this layout do? Well, this layout is a little different because it added some background music, and it put the background music at a very low tone, so that way my voice can still be heard. So we can see that in the timeline. And let me go ahead and bring up the timeline. And this is what it added. It added the FreeCodeCamp logo. It added the audio here. And like I said, the audio, if I go to the audio, you can see that it's set to 31% instead of 100%, which is very nice that these layouts keep the audio levels the same. So that way you don't really have to adjust. And so that's kind of like my workflow with the intro. And we can kind of hear it here, and maybe you can hear the background music a little.
So FreeCodeCamp did it again. It added a new course or a new workshop from the HTML portion of their full stack developer. And so,
okay, so another thing that I'll do with my workflow here is take a look at any kind of things that may not go in there. Maybe I said a few words that should not have been in there. So I could already tell, hey, it added a new course or a new workshop. So it didn't add a new course, it added a new workshop. So I can come in here and just remove this part here. Let's go ahead and listen to it again.
So FreeCodeCamp did it again. It added a new workshop from the HTML portion of their full stack developer.
And so I thought that was pretty neat that you're able to edit the video with only your text here. We didn't come down here to the waves. We did it all through the text. So again, thought that was pretty neat when I first looked into Descript. All right, so going through it, going along with it, I typically will go ahead and run through it, play it, listen to it, and I will listen to it at a playback speed that is quicker than listening to 24 minutes of audio. Okay, that's not what I wanted to do. While I'm at it, I'm also going to go ahead and apply the ending here, because this last scene I'm going to apply a different scene to it as well, and that is going to be the same thing with this, but it's going to be the intro. I typically delete things that I don't need anymore for the final ending here, and then I'm just going to put in here subscribe. Okay, and then why do I have this text so low? Because in YouTube land, I will place an ending video card on here for somebody to watch the next video that I have for them. So that's how I kind of go out and edit with it. Okay, that same thing did apply the background music just like the intro had, and we can listen to it.
All right, so we made it through this workshop that FreeCodeCamp offered, and hopefully by going through it with this video, it helped you out, helped you learn a few things.
So you can see that just having that nice music in the background, it's not too loud, it kept it at that 37%, so we should be good there. Okay, so the very last thing, again, after I go through this entire everything and kind of listening to it and making sure and it's good, then it's time to get it over to YouTube. And so how does that work? Well, before I try to give it the description, because again, you can export this right here, and you can say, hey, you know what? Let's go do YouTube, and it will put in this generic description. That's very generic. We don't want that. And so, does Descript give us any kind of tools to kind of help us with coming up with that? And so they have this thing here called Underlord, and I'm going to go ahead and move my photo out of here. And you can see that you can ask their chatbot here, Underlord, to do anything that you want video related here. And so I have come up with something that I just grab from my notes, from my notepad on Mac. And let me go ahead and collapse this here. And so I'm going to copy this and paste it here. And we'll kind of go through it. So hopefully, if you can't read it, sorry about that. I will kind of read this here to you. So it's just like when you're going with ChatGPT and you're wanting to give it some information, right? I'm saying, hey, this is an example of SEO description that I would like you to do for my YouTube. Okay, please use the markers as the timestamps, and also throw in some words about the video. Provide a few words after the marker to talk a little bit about what that chapter is about. Make the YouTube SEO description for this video by utilizing this template. Fill in the chapters with real timestamps, titles, hashtags, and summaries that go along in the video. And I put in these little square brackets for it to kind of fill up or fill in some of these variables. Okay, and you'll see it. It works out really well with all of this, and it keeps all the stuff that is hard coded here, and it's just going to give me a really nice printout of all this. So I'm going to go ahead and send this to Underlord, and it's going to think about it briefly, and then it's going to provide me with this right here that I can totally copy and paste it into the description. So that's what I'm going to do. And you can see here that it's chaptering everything out. It's providing links. It's going to provide hashtags that are relevant to this video. And you can see that step 6, step 7, step 8, all the way through step 11, and then final thoughts. So that's what I really love about Descript, is their Underlord feature and being able to take what I just gave it as a template, and now I have a standard for my videos. And so then all I'd have to do is come up here and copy, and then I can go ahead and export. Now, I did read in the Descript, and I don't know if it's still true or not, that it says, hey, for good editing, or for good, for a way for Descript to kind of do this and do it well, it would recommend that you kind of publish to Descript first. And so this is where I choose my resolution. I'm just going to go ahead and hit the export button. And so Descript has its own, their version of hosting your video, which is kind of nice. We can take a look at it also. But we can go ahead and do that. But where the real magic that I like to use it for here is coming in here and just pasting what it gave us. One of the nice features about utilizing the integrated features here with Descript is that if you utilize any of the stock audio, any of the stock video, stock images, like you won't get any strikes against you as far as the content. So it's all like royalty-free stuff. Matter of fact, I think one of my videos did get flagged with even utilizing Descript audio from their audio library, and they were able to clear it up, and it's no longer being flagged for it. So just something to think about. And then you're able to go ahead and click this button here to sign into YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and do this here off screen, so we're not sharing any emails or anything. All right, and going back here, now I'm able to go ahead and hit the export button, and it will show up in my my YouTube channel for pre-Code Camp. And so it's just going to take a few minutes here, and it's going to let me know once it is updated. So I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts? If you guys are watching, I see that there's a few of you guys out there watching the live here. But let me know what you guys are thinking about Descript. Are you utilizing Descript, or have you ever seen it before? Like I said, it's a really neat product. So that is publishing, and this is from earlier about transcribing, but as you saw, it transcribed just fine. But Descript also offers avatars and things of that nature as well. And you can even clone your own voice, which is really neat if you're wanting to do faceless ones, and it has tons of AI avatars and voice actors to choose from as well that do sound natural. So, like I said, once I saw it, I was like, I got to use this. And you don't even have to, like I said, use your voice and be on camera with it. So, anyways, let's see if it is posted quite yet. And then we'll see what that looks like. Yeah, so it looks like the processing here is going to take a little bit, but it's already on. It's already being pushed up to YouTube right now, and I can show you this here. So again, I did all this through Descript, and it's already pushing up here. It applied the title that I told it to. It followed through with the description that I gave the Underlord. It gave the chapters, provides links, and then later on I'll come in here and Descript doesn't do this here for you, the thumbnail and things of that nature. So that's all on you. The other thing that I will do with Descript is I will utilize its export of the words with the timing. So let's go ahead and show you that, the subtitles. So this is what YouTube utilizes here, the SRT. I'm going to go ahead and export it. Go ahead and save it there, and then I can come in here, and once this thing is done uploading, I'll be able to come over here and add the subtitles. So it's just a matter of moments for it to kind of work there. So anyways, I think I'll kind of cut this video here short. Hopefully it was useful to you. You got to see a little bit of behind the scenes on how this all works. And thank you for watching. And go ahead and take a look at the other channel that we have, pre-Code Camp, for sure. And that's with a P, P-R-E, Code Camp. And so if I don't see any kind of questions popping up here from those folks that are watching this live. So we'll see you in the next video. All right. Take care.